Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Willie Ramirez, and of all the topics, I chose to talk about Diana Bloomberg Baldwin and her three styles of parenting. So, first, just to speak a little bit about Diana. Diana Ballwin was a clinical and developmental psychologist known for her research on parenting styles and for her critique on the use of deception and psychological research. So, something really interesting is that Diana Baumrind was born in 1927, and in the 60s, so this concept hasn't even been around for 100 years, it's fairly new. In the 60s, Baumrind noticed that preschoolers had different types of behavior. So Baller's theory was that depending on what kind of parent and the style of parenting that these parents had with their kids, it determined the children's behavior, development, and their outcomes in life. So I just thought it was really interesting that just randomly observing preschoolers that Diana Baumrind came up with this theory that depending on how their parents treated their children, it would have an outcome on their kids, and that all that happened recently, not even 100 years ago. So something that I want to talk about, well, I want to hit the 3 points in Diana Baumrind's theory, which are that there are three kinds of parents. There are the permissive parents, there are the authoritarian parents, and there are the authoritative parents. So I'm just going to talk about each one briefly to give you guys an idea of what these main three parenting styles are. So with the authoritarian parent, what they're going to do is they're going to attempt to shape, control, and evaluate the behavior and attitudes of their child in accordance with a set standard of conduct, usually an absolute standard, theologically motivated and formulated by a higher authority. So the parent is going to view obedience as a virtue and favors punitive, forceful measures to curb self-will at points where the child's actions or beliefs conflict with what she thinks is right conduct. So this parent is going to believe in putting their child in their place all day, every day, not giving their child much say as to what's right and what's wrong. They're going to tell their kids, this is the way it is, and it's my way or pretty much the highway. So they're the strictest style of parents. In other words, they're not much for having a dialogue or engaging in verbal discussion with their child about rules or consequences. It's just they say what they have to say, and that's that. So that's the strictest. That's the authoritarian parent. Then you have so that's one extreme, so we'll go to the other extreme, which is permissive parents. So the permissive parent attempts to behave in a non-punitive, acceptant, and affirmative manner towards the child's impulses, desires, and actions. The parent consults with their child about policy decisions and gives explanations for family rules. They make very few demands, though, for household responsibility and orderly behavior. They are going to be seen as a resource to the child and not an ideal for or an example for that child to want to be like when they grow up. So this parent allows their child to regulate their own activities as much as possible. They don't use control, and they do not encourage them to obey any externally defined standards. So this parent, you can say, is way too lenient because they pretty much let their kid do whatever they want, whenever they want. And they might say something here and there, but basically they think that their child can just raise themselves without any sort of discipline. So that's one. And then the last type of parenting style is the authoritative. So we have authoritarian, which is strict, permissive. So we'll meet right in the middle with authoritative. So the authoritative parent attempts to direct their child's activities but in a rational, issue-oriented manner. The parent encourages verbal give and take. So the parent's going to sit down and discuss with their child what they feel like fair rules would be and what they feel like fair consequences would be also. Both autonomous self-will and disciplined conformity are valued. They use reason, power, and shaping by regimen and reinforcement to achieve their objectives, but they do not base their decisions on group consensus or the individual's desires. So this parent is just basically the more fair one. They know that they're the one in charge, and they make sure that their child knows that they're the one in charge, but they don't do it in a demanding or like a dictator way. They discuss with their child. And this one results in the most stable kids, the ones that have the most social development, they have better cognitive skills, and they end up being better parents themselves. So these are just the three parenting models that I want to talk about. Thank you very much for your time, and hope you guys have a great day.